is the final and last episode of season 1 of Unapologetically Me, and this one is called Love and Loss. And so I'm going to start off with my marriage story. And so the person that I married, I knew his family growing up since I was 8 years old. I had met him when I was 12, but he was 17, and my mom made it very, very clear that he was off limits. And so obviously we weren't able to look at each other a certain way until I became of age. And so once I did become of age, I guess he started to look at me a certain way. And to me, he was just a crush. Until one of his cousins approached me and told me that he liked me, and I told him that he was lying and I didn't believe him.
Lie! You're lying! Liar! Lies! The filthy earth boy lies!
So I ended up giving his cousin my number to give to him. We ended up going out, we ended up going on a date, and at that time we were always 6 years apart, but it was a little better because I was 20. And so I was definitely of age, and I honestly, truly thought at that time, I was so naive, that he was going to be old and boring.
Loose skin and old balls, bro.
He wasn't, because then we ended up getting together probably 2 months after we started dating, making it official. Everything happened really fast. Probably 7 months after being together, we ended up moving in together. A year after being together, we ended up getting engaged. And then 2 years after being together, we ended up getting married. And I feel like the only reason that we moved so fast is because we basically knew each other our whole entire lives. We grew up together. Our families were very close. So it was like we were already like family already. And I thought that was the ideal relationship. I thought that was my white picket fence. I thought that was my fairy tale. I thought growing up with somebody and knowing everything about them was going to be enough to spend a lifetime together. And not have anything break that kind of bond, because I knew we would never find anything like that again. But unfortunately, that definitely was not the case. We ended up getting separated, almost getting divorced, only a year after getting married, because he thought that he can have a double life. He thought that he can leave me, his wife, at home while he went out and partied and did whatever he wanted and not come home and not call. And so to me, that was very disrespectful. To me, that was living as a single man. So it's like, if you want to act like a single man, then you can be.
He acts single, you act single. He makes no effort, you show no interest. He puts you second, you put him last. That shit goes both ways.
And so I did try to leave him. I did try to file for an annulment, but then he ended up fighting for me. And so I did end up going back to him, because I was raised that you are supposed to work things out as much as you can, as hard as you can, till death do us part. I took my vows very seriously. And so then we ended up getting back together. But at that time, I actually ended up buying a condo on my own, in my own name. And I'm so grateful and glad that I did. And we ended up getting pregnant with my son. And 2 years after having him, we decided we want to expand our family and try to get pregnant with another child, to give him another sibling closer in age to him, since his older brother was so much older. And we were trying for almost 6 months, and that's how long it took for me to get pregnant with my first son. So I kind of assumed it was probably going to be the same amount of time trying to get pregnant with our second. But during that time, we had so much happening. And so 3 months into trying to get pregnant, we ended up going on a cruise, and he ended up stealing $2,000 off my credit card and gambling it all away.
Say what?
And that was our emergency card. And not even too long after that, he ended up gambling our mortgage money away.
Say what?
ask my family to borrow money to pay our mortgage. And so at that point, I told him, you have a problem. You need to go to therapy or do something, because we cannot live like this. You cannot depend on me and my family to take care of us and save us when we're drowning. And he didn't believe he had a problem, so he did not do what he had to do. And I put up with it until probably a month later. We had his son, we had my son, we were supposed to have a family movie night, and he just never came home. He never called. And to me, it was one thing to disappoint me and do that to me, but to do that to your children, you literally don't have a heart. And so seeing his son, how disappointed he was and how hurt he was, hurt me. And at that point, I made the decision that I will not allow him to do this. I couldn't take it. It was okay for him to do that to me, but to do that to your kids, that's when I had to put my foot down. And so when he did end up coming home the night after, I told him that he cannot have one foot in and one foot out. Like, he's either going to be 100% invested in the family that he built and is trying to, you know, make bigger by having another kid, or we need to stop. I can't do this anymore. I cannot put my son through what you are putting your son through. I cannot see you do that and cause pain and have to console them and have to lie to them. I refuse. I'm not going to do that. And so he had the balls to say, can we just live together and do whatever we want?
Does anybody know where men actually get all of their audacity?
And I was like, I think the fuck not. And so I did end up kicking him out. I did end up keeping his son until he graduated high school, pretty much. I threw his graduation party for him. I did everything I could. And I felt so guilty that I didn't try to make it work until he graduated. But I'm not good at lying. I'm not good at faking. He would have read, you know, how bad it was. He would have felt the toxicity. And I feel like kids are very prone to feeling emotion, and I didn't want that for him. So I'm just so proud that we ended up getting through his senior year, going through that. And words can never explain just how proud I am of him, because he really did have to endure a lot during that time, and he did what he had to do to be successful still. And it was hard. I only had a 2-year-old, but I was very grateful that I did not end up getting pregnant, like I said in one of my other episodes, because I felt like I would have had stayed with him no matter what, because I would be incapable financially and physically on raising 2 children by myself that young in age. Obviously, you know, once they got older, once I got more established in my job, like, I could have done it eventually, but I would have hated to have to live miserably content and fake it until I make it. I'm so glad I didn't have to do that. And so I kind of just, what threw me off was that it was a slap in the face, because I thought we were doing good. I thought we were building our family. And so to me, it caught me completely off guard when I found out during that time that he wasn't coming home and not calling, that he was cheating on me.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's so sad, because I never even thought that. It never even crossed my mind. But I didn't actually end up finding out until months later, after I had already kicked him out. So I'm kind of glad it kind of happened that way, because I feel like it could have been a lot worse if I would have found out during that time. I kind of might have went Lisa Lopez on him or something.
Would I look like asking him about another bitch? Might tell you once, won't tell you twice. If post it up, we.
And so by that time, I was already kind of over it. I was already trying to heal. I was already trying to let him go. And so that was just like the closure that I needed to continue to move on and heal and be strong and leave it behind and not even revisit that situation at all. And so I'm glad that I did find out the way that I did. Obviously, I don't know the true story, only the 2 parties do. But I'm the kind of woman that I would never blame the other woman, especially if she didn't know. I would never target her. I would never go after her. Like, in the end of the day, it's the person that's in the relationship's fault. And so I never had any, I did find out who it was. I never had any animosity towards her, and I would never confront her about it, because to me that's embarrassing. Like, your man is the one that stepped out. Your man is the one that approached her. So what good does it do approaching her? So I hope that people kind of think about that and take that into consideration. But that was what I needed to move on. I couldn't do it. I didn't want him to keep disappointing my children that way, and his child, and both children that he brought into this world. And when we kind of sat down and talked about it, I'm glad that he kind of, you know, communicated to me after the fact and kind of gave me a little bit of closure on why. And he basically said that the only reason he married me and made me a mother is because he didn't want anybody else to have me.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So he thought that that was going to keep me. And he also said that once I became a wife and a mother, I was boring. I was not the crazy, toxic party girl that would want to go out every weekend. And I'm like, well, what did you expect, sir? That I was gonna leave my son with your mom every weekend while we go out and party? And no, if you wanted me to stay the crazy, toxic party girl, then you probably should have never made me a wife and a mother. But I'm glad that he did. I needed that change. I needed everything that happened. I truly do believe everything happens for a reason, whether it's good or bad. And that's just what I needed at the time to make me a mature adult and not live that life. But some people love that life, and they don't see any other life besides that, and they don't want anything else besides that. And they think that they can have both, and that's just not possible. That's not functionable. You are either, and like I said, it's okay maybe once a month to have mommy daddy time, party, live it up, do whatever you want to do, have a vacation. But most of the time you need to be a responsible parent and a responsible adult and take care of the people that you brought into this world. You think that would just be common sense, but apparently it's not.
Obviously. Obviously.
I also believe that some people, no matter how good they have it, they cannot accept that life. That life is boring to them. They love toxicity. They love drama. They feed off it. They can't live without it. And so they self-sabotage their life that they have that is good to create that and stir it up. But that is not me. And so I was runaway girl. Every time, and every time since then, if shit gets heavy, if shit gets confrontational, then I don't want it, I don't need it, I'm gone, I'm not dealing with it. And I did try to escape him at least 3 times before I actually did. And then even going into our divorce, he still didn't accept the fact that this was really happening. And so we didn't end up actually filing for divorce until probably 2 years after we separated, because honestly, financially, it is cheaper and better to be married when it comes to health insurance, taxes, all that kind of stuff. And I told him that we wouldn't file until we met somebody else and got serious, and he did. And so that was what I needed to make it cut and clean and just over with legally. And so everything that happened was just needed in order for me to keep moving forward. And so that I'm very glad that I did. I did become single when I did file divorce. I was dating and seeing other people. I did still believe in love. I still did believe in loyalty. I wanted so bad to maybe find it again. But it was just so sad that once I did become single, it was like a huge awakening for me, seeing all these people that claim to be happy and post their family in my DMs.
Somebody come get your man. I think he got lost in my DMs. What? My DMs.
Wanting and willing to cheat and ruining their lives. For what? For what? That I will never understand. And I think the only thing that makes sense to me is people love to have their cake and eat it too. They want the perfect wife, the perfect mother at home. Well, they go out and do whatever they want. And that's just not okay. That's double standards. I do not believe in that. I like cake. I want some of my fucking cake. Can I get some cake? Because we are not doing that, sir. And it was a huge slap in the face. And they're like, wow, is just loyalty just doesn't exist anymore? Is that what it is? And so I did get very disappointed, very discouraged. And so I kind of went down a different path of trying to build detachment. And I actually created a list for myself. It's called the Dirty 30, and we AKA call it the Hoe Bible.
Hoe life or no life?
Which is 30 rules that I live by, since I couldn't name it How to Be Single, since that's a movie, or How to Be a Bad Bitch, since that's a book. And so I kind of created my own list, and I will send that to anybody that is interested in it. But it's basically rules on how to be single without falling for people, how to have fun. And so you need to set boundaries. And so every time I have met somebody, I laid it out right. And during our first encounter, this is what it is, this is what it's not, this is what it's never gonna be. So don't try to pass that line. Do not waste your time, money, energy, and effort, because I will not let you in. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, if I don't feel something passionate and strong, and I can imagine building a future with you, growing old with you, and have you be the man that I want my son to be, then we don't need to do this dance. Okay, like we could have fun, we could date, we can go out, but let's keep this very minimal on emotional connection. Let's not have deep conversations. Let's keep it to small talk. You know, let's not have intimate moments or romantic moments, because that's how feelings get involved. And so I come with a caution sign. I come with a warning sign. I let them know. But for some reason, they all think they're special.
When I said that you're not special, I meant that.
And they think they can change me. And obviously, nobody has been able to do that. And even, it's not that I don't even give them a chance. Because I have. If I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can see myself with this person. Why not? Why not be open to it? So what I do is, words don't mean anything to me. I will give them the opportunity to put their words into actions. So I will say, like, I'm the kind of person that I need to dip my toe in the water before jumping in the pool. I'm not just gonna jump in full force with no life jacket.
Am I the only one who has to dip their toe in the water before diving into everything?
And so if they want a relationship with me, I schedule a time for us to spend at least a week together, so that we can go to sleep together, wake up together, make dinner together, do relationship type things together, and see if that's something we even want or can tolerate. I'm super, super petty. Every little thing bothers me.
You really shouldn't be petty. Petty's my middle name, okay? Call me a petty princess. Call me Peter motherfucking Pettigrew, okay? I'm petty with a capital P. Bold.
I am not a cuddler. Do not cuddle me all night, please. That is literally torture to me. And the ones that snore and move, like, I can't be with somebody like that for the rest of my life. I will never sleep. And so, yeah, I'm petty. I need to know. I need to know your sleeping habits. I need to know if I can tolerate seeing you every single day for every waking moment, you know? And if that's not something I can do, then we don't need to pursue it. But at least let's try. Let's test it out. Let's not just say these things and make these promises and kind of just see how it goes. No. And every single time I present them with the opportunity, they fall short and they decide, oh, okay, well, I don't know what I was saying. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I don't want this. But I make sure, like, we are not wasting anybody's time, our energy, our feelings, unless this is real shit, unless you're 100% committed. And so there has been a few times that I do blame myself for falling in love with the idea of them, but lacking the reality of who they really are. So I'm so glad that I put out these tests and called their bluff before even wasting any time or energy. And so that's what I do. And I feel like that's what everybody should do. If you can't imagine your life with this person in the long run, in the long haul, then what are you doing? It's a waste of time. And that is something I definitely don't have, especially as a single mother. And so you get in where you fit in, or you don't get in at all. Like,
single moms don't ever have time for shit, bro. Like their schedules are so precise. Like, oh, I'm free April 24th at 2:14 to...
This is your time slot, sir. So make it happen or not, but either way, somebody else will. And so whenever there's something that somebody can't do, guess what? There's always somebody willing to. And so I truly do not need anybody. I love men like Cher. They're a luxury. They're a delectable dessert.
You said a man is not a necessity, a man is a luxury, like dessert.
But I do not need them. And none of my goals, nothing that I want to accomplish in life has anything to do with another man besides my son. Like I said, my only goal and accomplishment in life is to raise that man to be a good man, husband, and father, since I wasn't allowed to have one. But I'm hoping, I'm no spring chicken, but I'm hoping eventually, maybe by some God-given miracle, I will be blessed with one. But I'm not going to count on it. I'm not going to look for it. I'm not going to seek it. You know, I'm the kind of person, I believe that love will find you when you are 100% ready, wanting, and willing. I believe that love should come naturally and easily and should not be forced. I believe it should be effortless. And maybe that's a fairy tale. Maybe I'm crazy for even thinking that, and maybe I will be alone forever because of that.
Fine. I don't need anyone anyway. I'll just be alone forever.
But I'm okay with that because, like I said, I love being alone. And who knows, when my son gets older and he leaves the house and he's in college and he builds his own life, maybe being alone will start to feel lonely. But these past 10 years, they have not. I've been living my best life, doing whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want, with no obligations to anybody. I don't have to ask permission from anybody. I just get to do whatever I want, spend everything on me, be completely selfish, and I love it. And so, like I said before too, they're not competing with each other. They're competing with the feeling that I get from being alone. They're competing with my solitude and my freedom and my liberation. And so if you can't make me feel better when we're together than I do alone, then to me, I'm not even going to pursue that either. I do want the ooey gooey, I can't live without you, I want to spend every waking moment with you, I can't keep my hands off you type thing.
I want to roll you into a little ball and shove you up my vagina.
And I don't know if it exists, but I'm willing and open to find out. It just hasn't happened for me. During the dating, probably once I hit 30, that's when I became a completely new person. And they always say that it's a sexual awakening for women that turn 30. And I truly believe that because I've never been felt more sexy or confident than I have been in my life. And I love it. So to all the young girls, there is definitely something to look forward to. And I'm honestly kind of glad I got divorced before I turned 30 so I can feel like this, because who knows if I would have stayed a wife and a mother, if I would have ever had this or experienced this or felt this way. And I just could never ever imagine my life not the way that it is now, not being able to experience all the beautiful, wonderful things that I have. I can't. And the only way I want to be in a relationship too is if I can experience the same beautiful, wonderful things and more with that person that I can't alone. I just love who I am not in a relationship. Because honestly, when I was in a relationship, I hated who I was. I do not like it at all. I was very insecure. I was possessive. I was jealous and toxic. And I don't ever want to be that person. But I truly do believe that the right person will bring out the best in you instead of the worst. And so that's what I'm praying and hoping, that if I do find somebody, that I will never have to feel that way again, because they don't make me, they don't, trigger me to. And so this whole time I use all of these rules to protect myself, and I have mastered detachment. I can feel this way, but I have to know the difference between love and lust. And I think a lot of people get that confused. And so it's like a high, it's like a euphoria when you're in the moment and you're feeling it. It's amazing. But then you kind of come down back to reality and you're like, okay, this isn't real. This is temporary. That was a temporary high, and that's all I'm ever going to get from them. I that's all that they can give me. And it's almost like an addiction. I'm the kind of person that I will not overplay my role. And so like I said, if you're not there for the long run, I'm not gonna do wifey relationship things for you, because there has been times where, you know, I kind of fucked up and did for the wrong people. And that is something I deeply regret doing, is giving more to people than what they deserved. And so I'm the kind of person that you get in now, that you get what you put in. And so we're reciprocating energy now. I'm not gonna overplay any role or part. And so if we're not in a relationship, if we're not fully committed, then we're just having fun. That's it. And so we will not be going half on anything, because we're not even gonna be going out to do that. We don't need to get to know each other. And for the people that got me like that, I have had a few people come into my life that they do even the smallest, simplest things for me. And those were the only people that I would ever do anything for them. If they go out of their way for me, I will go out of my way for them. If they clear their schedule to see me and make time for me, then I will do the same thing. And so if you want to be treated like a king, you got to act like a king. If you want to act like a joker, I'm going to treat you like a joker. That's the way it is.
If you treat me like a queen, I'll treat you like a king. But if you treat me like a game, I'll show you how it's played.
I feel like I have been on my Ariana Grande thank you next shit for these last 10 years.
Look what you taught me, yeah, for that I say thank you.
So every single person that has came into my life, they have served their purpose. They have taught me lessons that I needed when they came into my life, or they helped me. And so the first person that I met that I was not used to, I thought I was a master at detachment. I thought I had things in control. But there are some people that they need to vibe. They need to get to know you in order for them to feel any kind of intimate connection, to want to be with you in that way. And so I found out that that's something that I need to respect and be okay with, and not open up to them, but let them open up to me enough for them to feel the way that they need to. But I need to understand that that is just for them and it's not for me. And so I try not to have deep conversations about life, but sometimes it happens. And guess what happens when that happens? Yeah, bitch gets in her feelings.
Okay. I'm feeling.
And then she's like, oh no, I kind of like him as a person now, and now I don't know how to act. And so I think I'm in love. And then that's when I start overplaying my role and start talking crazy. And I know like some people do that, but most of the time I try not to make people far from me. I tell them like, we should not do this. We should not open up to each other. We should not have this conversation, because you will fall in love with me. I know. It has happened. You guys think I'm just making shit up. This is real. Because even when I don't, they still say all these crazy things. Like, I love you. I'm going to want to marry you. I want to be with you. I can't live without you. You don't even know me, sir. You do not know me at all. We haven't even been on a real date. Like, and I haven't even opened myself to you.
I went so crazy. I think you're insane.
I always like to say what I call the Brujas curse. Is once you've tasted my soul, it will forever haunt yours and leave a burning scar in your heart. And then I also say that once you've been with me, you will always think of me and you will always want it to be me. And there will never be anybody like me. And so, I mean, maybe I am doing some bruja shit and putting that as a spell binding them without knowing, through manifestation, because a lot of people do believe in that. And I feel like maybe the ones that it hasn't affected is they are the ones that are protected, because I also believe in that too. I know this is called Unapologetic. But sometimes you do got to take account. It's called accountability. I do not believe in the word sorry, but I do believe in taking accountability of your actions. And so I do apologize for anybody that I may have done that to and supposedly ruined their lives, like they like to say. That person taught me a lesson that I still got to be detached, even going through these emotional conversations, and kind of know what it is and know what it's not, even though it's not verbally communicated. I said there was a person that I met that I needed in my life, and that was to bring my confidence back and to feel sexy again. And I'm so appreciative for him, and he still is a part of my life. There is somebody that I thought I wanted a future with. I thought I wanted a relationship, but he was too immature to accept it. He was confused. He was inconsistent. He was very unstable. We went through relationship problems without even being in a relationship, and we did that for like 3 years. And then when I finally moved on from him, not talking to him for a year, he tried to sneak back in.
You miss me too?
No. Okay. Not at all.
But at that point, I was already starting a new life and moving, and it's like, you have no place here anymore. But I did end up meeting up with him because, you know me, sometimes I need that closure to know that I will never feel that way for him again, and I didn't. So I'm kind of glad that I did, so I didn't even question it or think about it. But I appreciate him being in my life still, because he taught me how to be stronger as well, and how to not even believe words and even sometimes actions, that you have to be 100% invested and sure and secure and assertive and know for a fact that this is what you want. And he just threw me on an emotional roller coaster. And there was a person that I met that we almost made a commitment to the point of moving in together. But what was crazy is, to me, it was more like me helping him since he was going through a tough time, and giving him a place to stay and having a partnership rather than a relationship. And I thought that I made that very, very clear, because I was like, we both have children. And so I feel like you will have your room, I will have my room, and we will not share a room. The kids are gonna get attached to each other. So before even going into this, I need you to make a commitment, not to me, but to the kids, that no matter what happens between me and you, that we are gonna keep some kind of friendship, some kind of relationship for the kids, because they will get attached to both of us. And that would have been a very just messy situation. Like, how can you live together and, you know, raise your kids together and go places together and expect to not be committed or in a relationship? And the kids are gonna question that. Like, my mommy's roommate, my mommy's friend, we went and had dinner together, we went to the movies together, we did, like, that's just too confusing. And so I'm kind of glad we decided not to do that, because it was too complicated, and I couldn't make an intimate commitment at the time. I thought that we were good enough friends that maybe we wouldn't need that. But when children are involved, then that's something you just cannot play with, and I am very serious about. And I have not brought really any men into my son's life. The few that I have were more like play date situations. And then once I see my son already get attached just from the play date, like holding his hand, asking him to do things for him, I was like, oh no, okay, well, maybe we can't do this. We cannot have play dates with men, only women. And the one person that I did try to have a relationship with, we started off fairly slowly as well, only bringing my son around during family functions or family things, like watching the Bronco game, watching the CU game, barbecues, graduations, birthdays, that kind of stuff, but not having alone time together. And then one time, my son did end up wanting to stay the night at his family's house because his nephew is there, and his nephew wanted him to stay the night. And that scared me. I was like, oh, so this is getting real now. This is getting serious. Like, okay, but I think I'm ready. And so I glad that I left my son there while I went to go get our clothes. And so when we're all getting ready to lay down and watch a movie, the lights go off and he's like, I want to go home. I'm like,
oh my gosh, that was a close one.
Okay, good. Let's go, buddy. We don't have to stay here. So he kind of saved us out of that I clearly was not ready for, but I was willing to do if he was. And it was just so sad. This is where I might get emotional because I did love him. I knew him since I had a history with him as well. I knew him since he was 15. And it was kind of like the same thing as my husband. Our family knew each other and got along well, and his family loved me and they adored me, and I hope that they still do. But he got addicted to drugs and I couldn't save him and nobody could. And I just always waited for that day to get that call that he overdosed. And I was being a mother. I couldn't, commit fully to save or help somebody. But like I said, at the end of the day, you can't blame yourself, and you can't help somebody that doesn't think that something's wrong with their actions. And so in 2020, during COVID, I ended up finding out that he committed suicide. And I was completely distraught and destroyed. And what's so sad is I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't even say goodbye. We couldn't even have a funeral. We couldn't have anything for him during that time. And so it was almost surreal, like a horrible nightmare or a bad dream. And I don't know if this sounds selfish, but I'm kind of glad that we were in a relationship, because I feel like that would have happened no matter what. I don't think I could have saved him by being with him or committing to him. It would have happened, and he would have put me and my son through that. And I'm glad that he didn't, but I hate that that's what had to happen to him. Like, I just wanted him to be clean and find a way out. And I feel like he knew that he never could. And so that's why he did what he did. And I don't think any of us will ever recover from that, especially the guilt of thinking that we could have done something. And so after that, it was really, really hard for me to open up to anybody or want anybody, because I was afraid. I was terrified. And I still am. And maybe I'm a coward, because I believe, I don't know if it's better to love or love and lost, or to never loved at all. It's really hard to say. But I think I needed that. I needed him to be stronger as well, and kind of have a crazy, horrible life lesson that you can't save everybody, and you can't help somebody that doesn't want your help. They have to want to help save themselves. And so that was really, really hard. That was probably one of the hardest things that I had to go through. And I just pray that he is free and no longer suffering or in pain. Okay, I think I'm okay now, because we have to keep moving forward. As always, unfortunately, that's the way life is. No matter what happens, you gotta keep going. It does not stop. There is no pause. But yeah, after that, I was very closed off to everybody. I 100%, I think, didn't even try to give anybody a chance. And it wasn't until probably 2 years later after that I tried to present somebody with the opportunity. And I was the one that was going to go out of my way to stay with him. I went to Houston for a week, maybe even more, and had planned to spend New Year's with him. And he completely just wrote me off and stood me up. I traveled out of state for this man to try to spend my life with him, and he left me high and dry with nothing. And so thank God I'm the kind of person that I can travel alone, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make the best out of a shitty situation. So I still had fun. And so I did celebrate New Year's alone, but you know, it was liberating, and I met cool people that I vibed with. I met a few people that I had fun with. I did all the things I still wanted to do. I went to the restaurants I wanted to eat at. I went and seen the things I wanted to see and visit the places I wanted to visit. And I did not let this man stop me. I did not depend on him to ruin my trip that I had planned for him. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is a solo-cation instead. And so that's what I did. But after that, you get one chance. After that, after you do something like that, why would I ever consider you again? Like, and that's what guys don't understand. It's like, once you do somebody so dirty, you're literally deceased to them. Like,
You're fucking dead too.
No, you're insane if you think you're gonna come back into my life after pulling some shit like that. And so I think that's where they're a little delulu. And so there is another person that has been a part of my life since I was 15. He is one of my best friends, and we always didn't know whether or not we wanted to cross that boundary, and we really didn't until we were adults. I was divorced, and he ended up getting a job opportunity once we thought we wanted to be serious, and I took that as a sign, like, this is not the time, and I made him take that opportunity. But we still kept in touch. We still seen each other like 1 to 3 times a year, and every time we did, we'd play house, we play like we're in a relationship. But I'm the kind of person that I cannot have a long distance relationship. I need to physically be with you, and bare minimum maybe once every 2 weeks, but I can't do that. I'm not going to make that commitment when I know that's something that I cannot handle. And so I didn't. And so he's the kind of person that he always matched my energy. He always took care of me. He put me in my soft girl era, and he always wanted me to feel more for him and deeper. And then when I finally did, I finally submitted, then he kind of pulled back. And then now I'm kind of thinking, like, maybe he just loved the chase. Maybe he loved the fact knowing that he could never have me fully the way he wanted to. And now that he finally did, it's no longer fun. It's a game. And so I'm hoping it doesn't ruin our friendship, because that's one thing that was the most important to me, that no matter what happened between us, that we would always remain friends. Like, I would want to, if one of us met somebody and got married, that we would even be able to attend each other's weddings. But the fact that I gave into him and submitted to him and felt all these things for him to just abandon me was heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend I'm tough, but I'm the kind of person too that out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
So the longer time I don't see you or talk to you, the easier it is for me to heal from you. And once I feel indifferent, there's no going back from that. You ruined that, sir. You had me at the tip of your finger, in the palm of your hand, and you fucking fumbled. So sorry, not sorry. That was a lesson learned as well, that some men just love the chase. And once they get you where exactly that they want you, then the game is over. I'm honestly glad that all of these people came into my life and taught me lessons. And I'm hoping that maybe someday I will find love. But if I don't, I will be perfectly okay without it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this season so far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And for season 2, we will start doing interviews with people that I look up to and that I admire, that I know have been through a lot of things. And so I hope you guys will stay tuned for season 2 called Unapologetically Them.